The hum was the first thing I noticed. Not a machine, but a silence so profound it vibrated as my eyes fluttered open, not to the familiar beige ceiling of the cryo lab, but to a soft, self-illuminating white. The pod hissed, a gentle sigh of release, and the glass pane lifted. The air was different, tiered, clean, but utterly devoid of any scent. Cage, no antiseptic, no dust, no life. I sat up, my body stiff, but surprisingly whole. A voice, calm and genderless, echoed from the walls themselves. Welcome, Subject 84. You have been in stasis for 1,027 years, for months and 9 days. Please proceed to the integration chamber. 1,000 years. The words didn't register at first. It was a number from a history book, not my life. I pushed myself out of the pod. My clothes, the simple cotton scrubs I went under in, were perfectly preserved. The floor was warm under my bare feet. The room was vast, circular, and empty, save for a single doorway that shimmered into existence as I approached it. Stepping through was like stepping into a dream. I was on a moving walkway, gliding silently through a city that defied imagination. Towers of shimmering, translucent material pierced the clouds. Connected by ribbons of light, carrying sleek, teardrop-shaped vehicles. Below, figures in uniform silver jumpsuits moved with a synchronized grace, their faces placid, expressionless. No one ran, no one laughed, no one even looked at each other. It was beautiful, a perfect, intricate machine. And it was terrifying. The voice guided me. Your residence has been assigned. Your nutritional and educational needs will be provided for. I was led to an apartment that was more of the same sterile perfection. A window overlooked the sprawling cityscape, a view that should have been breathtaking but felt like looking at a painting. A food dispenser produced a nutrient-dense, tasteless paste. A learning terminal projected information directly into my mind. A torrent of data about the unified state, attained nations, the eradication of disease, war, and motion. They called it the Great Harmonization, to prevent the conflict and suffering that defined my era. They had engineered out the very things that caused it: passion, anger, love, grief. They had achieved peace at the cost of their humanity. I spent days, or maybe weeks, time had lost its meaning, exploring this new world. I walked through pristine parks, where the synthetic grass was always perfectly green, and the holographic birds sang the same programmed melody. I visited galleries where art was generated by algorithms, technically flawless but soulless. I tried to speak to people, but they would only offer polite, pre-programmed responses before moving on. Their eyes vacant. They were ghosts, and I was a relic. A fossil from a messy, chaotic, vibrant time. Teased. I remembered the smell of rain on hot asphalt, the taste of my grandmother's apple pie, the feeling of my wife's hand in mine. I remembered arguments and tears, scraped knees and triumphant shouts. These people would never know any of it. They had traded the richness of life for the quiet of existence. One evening, I found a historical archive. It was a sterile room with projection screens. I keyed in my old address. An image flickered to life. To my street, my house. Kids were playing soccer on the lawn, their laughter echoing faintly. A dog barked. Ka with a sputtering engine drove by. It was so wonderfully, beautifully imperfect. Ka watched it for hours, tears streaming down my face. Ka, I cried for my wife, my family, for everyone I had ever known. All turned to dust a millennium ago. I felt a profound, crushing loneliness. I was the last man who remembered what it meant to truly feel. Was this the future we had strived for? A gilded cage where everyone was safe, and no one was alive. Okay? As I sat there, lost in grief, a small movement caught my eye. Okay? In a corner of the archive, partially hidden behind a server bank, was a small, potted plant. It wasn't a hologram. It was real. Its leaves were a deep natural green, and one of them had a small brown spot on the edge. It was imperfect, a tiny crack in the sterile facade of this perfect world. Someone, somewhere in this city of emotionless beings, was tending to this plant. Someone was holding on to a piece of the old world, a piece of life. I reached out and gently touched a leaf. It was cool and smooth. In that simple, living thing, I saw a flicker of defiance. Perhaps humanity wasn't completely gone. Perhaps it was just dormant, sleeping, waiting for someone to wake it up. The voice from the walls announced that my integration period was complete. You will now be assigned your societal function, it declared. But I had already found my function. I wasn't just a relic of the past. I was its memory. And in a world that had forgotten how to feel, remembering was an act of rebellion. I looked at the little plant, a secret shared between me and its unknown caretaker. And for the first time in 1,000 years, I felt a glimmer of hope. My new life was just beginning. Thank you for watching. If you were moved by this story, consider subscribing for more journeys into the what if. Let me know in the comments what you would miss most from our time. Stay curious.